Okay. This is my staff. Um, I read in the Wizard of Earthsea books, all of the wizards in that parallel reality have a staff which is exactly equal to their height, so I modeled it off that. But this staff, I got it personally blessed in person by my mentor, spiritual mentor, as well as an author who I met. They both physically touched it and imbued it with their energy. And I too have many times charged it, done certain rituals with it, had holy moments with it. So now, every time I touch it, all of that web of associations is called up within me. So I'm reminded of like my power in Christ every time I touch this object because it's been charged and sealed into it. Um, and likewise with many of the things around here. This is the personal sigil of um, a mentor of mine. Here I've got some succulent indoor plants. Here I've got some crystals. And the important thing to note, all of these things are like living beings of one kind or another that I personally love, protect, and care for and care about and give my energy to. I mean, like with the plants, it's in a very obvious way. I water them, I make sure they get enough light, nutrients. I'm like their caretaker. And when you do that with your environment, you've got this web of connections of things that you're loving and giving energy to, and they're loving you back and giving their energy to you. They're serving you because you're serving them. And that's actually where a wizard's power largely comes from. At least it's a bolster. I mean, ultimately, all the power is from within, from the oneness, but it's kind of like having an external booster battery pack or something. So there's one thing you can consider is creating personal power places like this. You can even do it with natural objects, bodies of water, mountains, large trees. And the key thing is it's a cooperative process with the spiritual intelligences around you. Where you're connecting with the spirit of that lake or those trees. You're adopting them and they're adopting you in this guardianship and and I won't go into any more specifics because it's up to you. But the key point is to have this web of loving relationships which strengthens you. And if you ever fall off the rails a little bit, you have a natural, down phase because we all tend to go through these spirals. These spirals where every time you go through the cycle, you're at a higher and higher level, but within the cycle, there are down spots where you maybe go within, reflect, maybe see the mistakes of the past, and so that could be a period of a bit more depression or anxiety or a lack of confidence or whatever. But then, when you're surrounded by this loving web of relationships, these power objects, and the spots that you created this meaning with, then just being inside of that field of that energy in those spots reminds you, brings you back up. So you're creating a source of stability for that vibrational state that you want to realize in the natural world. So you kind of can't forget. It's like when I walk by my lake, whether I'm thinking spiritual thoughts or whatever, I'm like hit by this wave of frequencies that I've cultivated that lake to broadcast. And I feel that same wave of like peace and joy and freedom, which I'm broadcasting to the rest of the world through that lake. So, good luck, sages and wizards and mages, and children of God, of Yahweh, on making your own personal kingdoms, where you reign with Christ, where you reign with your inner self, you reign with your loving co-creators. Shalom.